Hey, resilient community, it's your girl Simone Mouchette, your ultimate social worker here, and I am back with my reason 3, my final reason for deciding to leave the school system, as schools are now open this week. I'm sure some of the things that I'm saying might strike a nerve or strike a chord, but I will be honest, it's hitting home. The decision that I made to leave, I am a little sad. I miss the first day of school, seeing new faces that we're about to teach and bond with for the year. But when I think back on last year and the last 13 years, really and truly, I think that it was still a worthy decision. So let me tell you what my third and final main reason is for leaving the school system. Reason number 3 is teacher mindset. Yes, teacher and adult mindset. We have now shifted how children should be educated. Like, the society has shifted, the times have shifted, and the way in which we were raised or trained up in school has changed. It has to change because the old way, how we were trained, is no longer effective. What I mean by that is that children's emotions and how they are able to socialize and learning how to manage their behavior are things that need to also be intentionally and directly taught in schools. Not just math, not just reading, not just writing, not just spelling. Obviously, all those things are important. However, with the advancement of technology, children are learning academic skills at much faster rates than we did when we were younger. However, they are behind on the social and emotional skills that we were able to acquire when we were younger because we had no technology. If we wanted to talk to a person, we had to physically go outside. We had to physically experience life to learn lessons, to realize, oh, if I'm going to be in community, I need to do this. If I want to keep this job, I need to learn to manage my emotions better. That's how we learned, and we naturally picked up through social cues. We don't live in that type of society anymore. Everything is done online or virtually. Even friendships are being fostered virtually. If you can't make friends outside, you can go online and talk to a stranger. It's a totally different ballgame. And so with that being said, in order to really earn the respect of children nowadays, you have to have a relationship with them. They actually have to care about what you say and want to listen to you, because children actually have a choice. They have so many options of where to get information from and different examples of lifestyles that they don't have to listen to their parent. They don't have to listen to the teacher. They can go or look at their own stuff, and they have rationale behind why they want to follow whatever that thing is. So I say that to say, working in the school system, a lot of the crises that I faced were a lot of times resistant to teachers feeling like they had power and authority because they are the teacher. They didn't really listen to like the problem. If they were offended that a kid didn't do their work because the kid doesn't like them because they feel like they have the attitude, teachers would not care and be like, well, I don't care, you need to still do my work. Yes, essentially they should, but the reality is, if you see a kid every single day, 5 days a week for a whole year, you need to have a deeper relationship with them than just, you need to just do what I say if you want it to be successful. And that's just reality. Whether you like it or not, whether that sounds like it or feels good to you or not, it doesn't matter at this point, because it's something you have to learn to do. And because as a adult society, we are not there yet as a whole. There's some people that are picking up double, triple the slack for adults who are not able to manage their own emotions. And don't get me wrong, I am not knocking teachers at all, because they have a lot of stresses on top of them. If you are a teacher and your social and emotional well-being is not being considered, it is super, super, super difficult for you to then actively consider someone else's well-being or a child's well-being that's not even your child. It really is difficult. School leaders in the school system are expecting teachers to be a certain way towards children, and they are not being treated in that way. The best way to implement social and emotional learning is that the teachers have to experience it themselves too. You have to know what it feels like in your body, in your nervous system. We never got those feelings. We never got a problem. You tell the teacher, they talk to you about it, and you were vindicated and it moved forward. A lot of times it's like, ignore that person, or don't worry about it, you'll deal with it later. It's always a brush off. These kids refuse to be brushed off. They want to be addressed now. And if the issue is, adults, that you're not sure how to solve that problem because it's a sticky problem, then let's sit down and talk about it. That is where my ARISE framework comes in. 5-step framework that I created to help adults have social and emotional conversations with young people in a structured and fair manner that allows their emotions to be considered, but also addresses the goal and the skill that we are trying to accomplish at the same time. You can look me up for more information on how to get that training on the ARISE framework for your school to better the communication between your students and teachers. And teachers, you are seen. I see you. Y'all do the work. However, the anger, the frustration that you feel, it is not going to benefit the relationship we have with the kids. At the end of the day, it's you and them kids in that classroom all day, every day. It makes the most sense to me that you create your own culture in your classroom. Like, do not project the frustration and lack of fairness of the system onto your students. They are children. They don't know no better. They are not mind readers. They only know what they are told and what they see. One marker that I use to measure children is, think about this. If they are unable to do something like apologize when they make a mistake or ask for help when they're struggling, if they're unable to do those things and you notice that, then you have to teach it to them. Not yell at them and ask them why they didn't do what you thought they should have did. Common sense is not that common, and it's even less common with so many options and so many ideas out in the world. In order for us to really save these kids, we have to acknowledge their social, emotional, and mental well-being, whether you feel like it's valid or not. That's all I need for you teachers to do, and also advocate for your social and emotional well-being too. If you finding like you're salty when you come into work, you're angry. I remember my stomach used to hurt every morning before I'll go to work. And if you're in that state, maybe you don't need to be there anymore. And those are real conversations that I'm having with educators, not because, I don't want any people to be teachers, but the reality is, if what is being required of teaching today is something that you no longer agree with or align with, that's okay. But you have to exit to leave room for other teachers who are in alignment with what teaching is today, so that we can actually save our young people. So thanks for listening, y'all. I hope that blessed you. I hope that gave you something to think about as you move forward this school year. And if you or your school or you're a parent and you are struggling with trying to understand your kid this school year, please, please, please do not hesitate to DM me, reach out to me. We can do an ARISE training for you, your school community, for your child, so that you guys can get the best that you need this year. All right? And remember, you are so resilient.